Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Megan, and I'm going to be focusing solely on Divine Feminine today. I have received a lot of downloads recently from Masculine Collective, what's going on with Masculine. However, I'm feeling that it's a standstill. It's like a fear, holding back walls. There's downloads, there's integration happening, it's massive awakening, and for many, massive towers due to the inaction and inactivity. So it's not really that interesting to tune into and not that helpful, but it's more important to, I feel right now, for Divine Feminines to be focusing on self and to be focusing on where you're going and releasing any anxiety or fear or worry. You might be feeling like, I want to move forward and I just want closure. I just want to know one way or the other what's going to happen here. Because for many of you, Spirit has kind of been holding on to you and saying, hey, there's this divine connection, there's this divine union, there's a divine soul path that you're meant to walk, and we're trying to get this person ready for you, right? I mean, that's a message I've been receiving for almost a year, yeah? And it's taken a lot longer than I ever possibly could have thought that it would, and me being the person that I am, being very forward thinking, forward momentum, very active, very self-betterment, self-improvement, just always trying to move forward, not having been very good with patience in the past. This has been one of my biggest difficulties on this journey, I would say, is feeling like I've been stuck in this sort of void space for so long, dependent on this other person. And not because I've healed that imbalance where, I need this person to do this thing, right? And I think a lot of you have as well. It's not the same thing as what I'm referring to here. What I'm referring to here is just knowing you have this destiny, knowing that all the energy in the world is conspiring for this thing to happen. And you're like, okay, that's cool. It sounds nice, but like, I don't need it if it's going to take this long, right? I mean, truly. And that's, of course, ego. That's, of course, shadow. That's, of course, the 3D human self that is like, I got to get on with my life. There's shit I got to do, right? But every time I've gone into that energy, I've gotten the nice little tap on the shoulder from Spirit being like, this is your version of running. And it's not that I'm closing my heart. It's not that I'm afraid of this connection or this person. It's that I'm saying there's a million people out there in the world and I can complete this mission with any of them. And I'm amazing. And I can't wait to feel that and be, receive what I give, right? And there's also times where feminine feels doubt that their masculine could ever meet them, could ever be at their level, especially after you start the ascension process and you start growing and you start getting to a place, right? And that's kind of the question I think masculine is asking themselves right now, but we're not focusing on masculine today. So I think that there's this place that feminine has come where you're very detached. You've balanced your emotions and your logic. You're able to tune in and tap into what you need in each given moment. You've cleared away your karma. You've done your work. You really have. The collective I'm speaking to here, these divine feminines have done their work. And you've been held back from forward momentum, right? From the mission in many ways. A lot of you have made a lot of strides, a lot of changes in your life, but there are certain things that you've been held back on. Many of us know that we have a destiny to be a parent to a starseed. These highly evolved souls that are coming into Gaia now to help with this ascension process, this rapid ascension we're experiencing. And there's many souls that have this predestined path, and many of you know in your soul that is part of your purpose. And many of these starseeds would like to come through twin flame unions. They would like that to be their parents. but there has been this hold, right? And so, and I've spoken with other divine feminines about this, there's almost been this frustration coming from spirit, from the divine, where spirit's like fed up, spirit's like angry, which is why we're not focusing on masculine energy, because it's like spirit's like, tap me in, I got this. Let me in, because I'm annoyed, right? Like, and I'm speaking as the divine, as the universe, being annoyed, and like there's a hold on not just the two counterparts' destiny and purpose and mission, but it's affecting many other souls, many other souls, because not only do these unions need to occur for destiny, for mission, for soul growth, planetary growth, evolution, all of this, but there are new twin flames. There's a new cycle coming in this next year in 2022, and this cycle needs to get wrapped up. This cycle needs to come to a closure, come to a completeness, so that the universe can focus on those new unions, as well as these twin flames that have come into their teaching roles and their healing roles to help these new unions from a place of completion, at least on that phase of the journey. So there's frustration in the energy. There's definitely a standstill. It's like a deer in headlights energy, fear from masculine. And this is kind of coming through that conduit for the feminine, where you're in this push-pull. Do I let go? Do I run away? Or, it's not really running. It's not the same type of running, because you're not running from yourself. You're just saying, I need to go forward. I need to move forward, because you're feeling that, right? There's the energy, and everything is telling you your destiny is here. Your destiny is now. It's time. And it feels like this is our big test in many ways, is to get out of our head in this moment as much as you possibly can. So that's my biggest message for you. It's to kind of update you on what's going on in the collective, what I feel in these two, the conduit of energy, how that's affecting maybe your mental state, your emotional state. And feminine, I know we've gotten this message over and over again, but the time is really here for you to be in sun energy, to be in pleasure, to be in enjoyment, to be in gratitude. And I know that can be hard when you're feeling all of the things I previously mentioned. It can be hard. But as much as you can, focus on your present moment. Focus on your present joy. Focus on what you can do in each now moment to be in your highest expression. And that requires you to get out of future and past. It requires you to get out of your head and into your body. And that's a key right there. The more you can get out of your head and into your body, and the advice is quite literally in there, get into your body through whatever way you enjoy, because it needs to feel authentically true for you, right? Dancing and singing both hold a very high vibration for souls, right? For us as humans and our human body, it connects us to the higher realms. It connects us to that higher channel. But if you don't feel good when you're singing or dancing, you're going to be actually creating resistance, right? And I would love everyone to get to a point where they can freely sing and dance. And maybe that's something you're called to kind of work on. But the reason I'm going off on this little tangent is do what feels good to you. If that's going on a run, if that's breaking a sweat somehow, if that's jumping into a body of water and swimming, if that's running around with your kids or playing with your pets, whatever that is, find the way to get into your body, okay, and connect. And then the other thing I want to say to feminine right now is tune in to what you're thinking, where your thoughts are at, and then where you're at in your feelings and your emotional space. Be the watcher of those things. Be aware, oh, here's what I'm thinking. The human me is thinking, God, I just want to move on. I'm so over this. This is bullshit. Like, give me some closure. Either come forward and talk to me or, apologize or not, but give me that closure, right? And then the emotional self is like in a totally different sphere, where it's actually sad, perhaps. Perhaps those thoughts are being coerced by sadness or regret or pain or worry. You know, some feminines I've spoken to recently are actually like concerned for their masculines, concerned for their well-being and their mental state, you know? And again, not going to go into that too much here today. So tune into those two kind of like spheres within you. Where is my thoughts at? And recognize, be the watcher of those thoughts, that those aren't you. That's not your truth. That's not your higher self. That's the human. That's the human trying to make do with the experience that you're given right now, the present moment. And then tune into the heart space. Tune into what the feelings are. And if you can identify where any of them are coming from, that can give you some more space. But more than anything, this simple process of just tuning into them is enough, because that directly affects your present moment in that you have to get very present, and you also have to eject yourself out of the experience of it. To become the watcher, you must take yourself out of that experience. And I hope this makes sense. If you have questions, please let me know. Or if you've experienced this and you know how to do this, I would love to hear kind of how you do it, because I'm sure everyone's systems are a little bit different. But just alone being able to stop yourself and notice, what am I thinking right now, right? And you might be thinking wonderful things, right? You might be having really positive thoughts. You might not. Either way, that process, and to train yourself to be able to go through this throughout your day, it's going to keep you more in the present moment. It's going to keep you very attuned and aware of what you're experiencing and where you're at. And it's really going to help you eject yourself from any of that conduit of negativity, 9 of Swords, anxiety, fear, worry. Because on the other end of your soul right now, your counterpart, their energy is weighed heavily down with regret, guilt, worry, pain, sorrow, depression, resistance, fear, you name it. They're working through it. Yeah? They're working through it, and spirit is heavily, heavily with them. Because spirit needs this to move either one way or the other, right? And I think the feminines who have done their work have come to a point where you're good. You're good with either. But it's time for that decision to be made. And it's time to know if you're continuing to walk this path with your counterpart, or if you're walking this path solo in the 3D right now, or perhaps with another soulmate. Either way, it's kind of a decision time. So that crunch and that pressure can feel really sticky. It can feel really uncomfortable, even though it's not coming from you, feminine. This is such an important point for us as feminines. It's not coming from you. But to take your power back on that is to tune into the present moment, get into your body, and choose joy as much as you possibly can. It's an easy time to celebrate, right? Especially all over the world, whether Northern Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere, celebrating. So find time to do that, to connect with yourself, to connect with joy, connect with others, if that's, something that feels good to you, and choose joy for yourself, because you deserve it. No matter what this other person does, no matter what's going on with them. You've done your work, you've paid your debts, you've lived through your karma, and that cycle has closed. So trust that and know that. And you're going to hold space and unconditional love for this person to do the same. But whether or not they do doesn't matter. And I want us to remember that, because that's really important. And that's why this journey gets really complicated and convoluted and confusing. Because, wait, I share a soul, but then how do I have my own choices, and how do I have my own... Well, we're seeing it played out. In the 3D, you always have your own free will choice, as in the physical, individual body. All right. I think that's it. I hope that made sense. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm sending you guys a lot of light and love and strength, and I'll be back soon.